Well, hello. Thanks for joining me today for Vikings in Search of Northern Lights. I'm Carol Shaddix with Imagine Going There Travel, and we are your Viking Cruise experts. We're here to give you a day-by-day overview of this great itinerary that goes for 13 days from Bergen to London or the reverse. And there are a lot of great tours that you'll enjoy, as well as a great opportunity to learn all about life in the close to the Arctic Circle. So I'm going to turn off my camera so you can actually see these images and get a better overview. And you can see our sailing pattern is going to be either from Bergen to London or the reverse, as I said, and we're going to have a wonderful opportunity to really explore the top of the world. And of course, a lot of great excursions that we'll get to do along the way. I have clients that ask, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. That sounds really cold. Well, if you look at the average winter temperatures from this graph, you can see it might not be that much different than where you are now, especially those of you who live further north. So something to consider. Yes, it is colder, but it is also fairly bearable. It's not like going to Antarctica. And we also have a concern about enough daylight. If it's the land of the midnight sun, then what happens in winter? Do we not have any daylight at all? Well, you can see from this graph, we actually have a snapshot of what it would be like in February. I had some clients leaving then and did a overview of how much daylight there would be. So if you look at, 726 to 429, you can see we're not all that different than traveling in Europe, especially in Christmas markets. Gets kind of dark around 4:30 anyway. So, and of course, that's what you want, because that's when you are able to see the northern lights when it gets dark at night. Now, a great thing about Viking taking you to these amazing destinations is the way they will show you the world. Viking always has an included shore excursion in every port of call. And for those of you who have never traveled with Viking, I'll be doing a ship overview at the end of our day-by-day presentation. But many of you have traveled with Viking and are just interested in the itinerary. So we're going to talk about what some of those options are. But of course, the included excursion is going to be a good overview of the port that we are visiting. And we're always having trained local guides that will give you a great overview of their city. But then we also offer deeper selections for those that are interested in going into more specific types of experiences. For instance, we have local life, where you might visit a Sami village and learn about the Norwegian cuisine, get a chance to try some of their food. You can do a reindeer sleigh through the countryside, or maybe you like ice fishing and you want to experience that. In Working World, we'll have the opportunity to see how they make their living, whether you're going to a slate quarry and meeting a third-generation miner, or going to a historic mill that makes those beautiful Viking sweaters. And then privileged access. Those are experiences that you don't get anywhere else. You can't even purchase them because they're exclusively for our Viking guests. And so it might be enjoying a private recital at one of the beautiful cathedrals in Alta, or a concert in Tromsø's Artic Cathedral. Neat experiences that you're getting to do as a result of Vikings relationships that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. So on day one of our panoramic tour, we're going to be going this direction in beautiful Bergen. And you will have time to get settled here because we actually sail in. You're going to fly in and we're going to be on the ship overnight. We'll be sailing the next day after your included excursion. So if you can't come in early, which I always encourage you to do, you'll enjoy some time staying awake, getting used to local time, and really exploring this city, which was founded back in 1070 AD, and it became a very wealthy city because there was a lot of export here, from the fish trade in particular to merchants that came through these waters in the Middle Ages. So a lot of historic sites that you'll get to see on this tour. You'll see the medieval King Haakon's Hall and the Rosecrans Tower. The beautiful wooden buildings of the Bergen Wharf are amazing. You might choose to do something like a tour up to the top of Mount Flon or Mount Ulriken, and you could do a snowshoe hike or experience just the outdoors from these incredible scenic views. This is the Bergen Wharf, and you can see these wooden houses. They are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you'll have a chance to enjoy the fish market there. And the Hanseatic Museum is a really popular place to learn about the history of the merchants that would spend the winter here and how they really brought so much wealth to this area, basically told the king how much they would pay in taxes because they were the ones bringing so much wealth here. You can also do an optional tour to Edvard Grieg's home. He's famous for a piano concerto in A minor, and this home has been there since he lived here for 22 years, and you'll actually get to go there and enjoy a concert. The stave church on the right are those old wooden buildings that were built. Some of them date back to 1150. And many have been damaged by fires. So getting a chance to see these remaining historic churches will be part of a optional excursion here. But getting a chance to see Edvard Grieg's home and hear a wonderful concert is an option for those of you who love music. And another optional excursion will be to go to the Dale of Norway Museum and factory. So you will actually see how they have been making these beautiful sweaters, which you can purchase on board the ship since 1879. This factory has had locals work there for generations. And interestingly, as you take this tour into the beautiful fjords, the valley where the Dale of Norway is, you'll see the amazing harnessing of the power to work the mills by the waterfalls that are around there. So beautiful environment, a great day of scenery, as well as learning about these beautiful sweaters, which just go with everything. They're super warm. I really love mine and encourage you to pick up one on the ship if you don't actually do the cruise itself. You're also going to have the opportunity to do some other excursions as well. We have one that's the Norwegian Gold and Silversmith Factory Tour. So that would be one of our working world experiences. And you'll learn about the heritage as you visit this factory that's been producing jewelry and gold and silver artifacts for over 150 years. Wonderful day in Bergen. We really encourage our guests to come in or stay late because there's a lot to do and you'll have so much time to really explore this beautiful city. Our next days, 3 and 4, we're actually going to be doing some scenic cruising. So the wonderful thing about the Viking ship is there's a lot to do. This library is well stocked. The upper decks have the Explorer's Lounge where you're going to be able to enjoy some incredible scenery as you sail the Norwegian side passage with the beautiful fjords. You recall from our map, we're going up that coastline and just hugging that coastline because Viking ships are small ships, so we don't have to be way out away from the coastline, so you'll get some incredible views. And we have our guest lecturers on board who will be telling you a lot about the history of the areas that we're sailing through. There's an incredible spa on board that is free access to use. You just pay for your services, of course, like a facial or massage. Wonderful way to spend the time. Then we have the high tea at the winter garden in the afternoon. There's plenty to do, just relaxing and taking in some scenic, beautiful cruising, as well as resting up before we get to our next stop, which is going to be in Alta. So Alta is a city of Northern Lights. This is the beautiful cathedral that was built kind of in honor of the Aurora Borealis. So it's got an incredible acoustics, so you can do a privileged access private concert here, as I mentioned earlier in the seminar, but there's also a lot of other things to do here. And one of these is where we'll start doing our excursions where we search for the Northern Lights. Lots of options here. You can have a night with the Huskies. We'll have the dog sled rides that you can do. You can do the snowmobile exploration. You can do snowshoeing exploration as well. A lot of options here. We have several things that you can do with the Sami people, which is the Sami camp and reindeer sledding. And of course, I mentioned the Northern Lights. We're always going to have different options for you to see that at night, whether it's by motor coach or catamaran or camping, for instance. You'll get a chance to really search for those. And that's the name of the cruise, because they're very temperamental. The conditions have to be just right in order for you to be able to see them, not just clear skies, but we also have to have sufficient solar activity that will allow you to see them. And the northern lights actually appear when we have electrically charged solar particles that interact with the Earth's magnetic sphere. And then there is, it is actually steered toward the poles. As you can see here, we have both the North and the South Pole. And you have these poles that produce this aurora oval. And of course, as the solar winds shift and expand, those are the times where you're actually going to get to see the northern lights. So we have some amazing pictures from our guests who have said that it has just been stunning to see them in person. And the guides on board the ship are really good about helping alert guests when to, what side of the ship to look on, or how to both chase them down as well as get good photos. One of my guests said you actually can see them better from the camera lens itself versus with the naked eye. And of course, you can see how the oxygen molecules at the different altitudes affect the colors that you're going to see. Now, another interesting thing about Alta is these incredible carvings that were actually discovered back in 1973, but they're over 7,000 years old. So you'll learn about the incredible history, and there's an interactive museum that you can go to. But of course, seeing the Alta Cathedral will be really special, and you'll enjoy that as well. Our day 7 and 8, we're going to be overnighting in Tromsø, and this beautiful area and that island right there in the center is going to be an incredible launch point for a lot of great excursions. In fact, one of those is the Polar Museum. So if you're interested in polar expeditions, you may want to do that. This museum dates back to 1837, and you'll get a glimpse of Arctic life. You're going to learn all about the expeditions of explorer and the native son of Norway, Roald Amundsen, and he reached the North Pole in 1926. Then you're going to get a chance to go to the Artic Cathedral and see this beautiful cathedral, which has a 39-foot stained glass window that depicts the return of Christ. So we also have a privileged access concert here at night. So if you wanted to go in, have a wonderful concert, hear some beautiful music, and then leave and hopefully get a chance to see some northern lights, that would be a great experience here. You can also go to the Igloo Hotel. So this is an incredible hotel that is made out of, I believe, 250 tons of ice. And you can either spend the night there, and you can see you've got a down comforter and reindeer skins to keep you warm, or you can do a snowmobile experience there where you can have the excursion, get something to drink, see the hotel, get a feel for it, and then come back and be able to say you went to the ice hotel. We also have some Arctic glamping you could do, and then the lifestyle of the Sami is in several options, but this is the example of a Lavu hut, and that's where they live, and you'll get to speak with them and learn about their traditions, their traditional dress, maybe do a reindeer sleigh ride and enjoy a really good meal. Just share some fireside stories and learn about their traditions. These farmers will actually stay with 1,000 to 5,000 reindeer over their season, trying to make sure they have enough grazing land, and it is a full-time job. So really learning about what life is like so far north, that would be a really interesting day. And then you're also going to have the opportunity to do a island sojourn where you can go to a fishing village and learn about how these 300 residents in this small little town make a living with fishing and hunting, and learn about their lives and how they earn their living from the field and the forest and the sea. There's also a beautiful home visit to the Lingen Alps, and our guests love our home visits. Visiting with a local family and learning and sharing pictures and traditions and chatting over a cup of coffee is really a memorable experience that our guests really love. And you've got this incredible scenery everywhere you look. So seeing a place in winter has its own magic, as you can tell. So enjoy your time in Tromsø. You will have a lot of opportunity there to really do some great shore excursions, make some great memories, and of course, see those northern lights at night as well. Day 9 is going to take us to Narvik, and you'll have our panoramic tour of Narvik. Some beautiful mountains surround you in every direction at this stop. You'll have a glacier that spills right up to the water's edge, and Narvik is known for some extreme sports. So if you want to give your hand at alpine skiing, this would be the place to do that. There's a beautiful Artic fjord here. One thing that's unique about Narvik is it is an ice-free port. The Gulf Stream comes up, and so this was a very important town, not only for the town of Kiruna, which you see here, which would export a lot of Swedish iron ore to this port and really brought a lot of wealth into this area. It was also quite important for the World War II conflict. So there is a war museum here, and you can learn about how the railway would link these iron ore shipments to the merchants and out of Sweden and Norway, and how it actually became a very coveted port during the Battle of Narvik in 1940. And there was a 5-year occupation where Nazis actually controlled this area because of its value. So you can learn a little bit about the history here. And of course, there are other options that you can do. You can have a visit with the wolves, and there's a 6-hour experience where you can go to the Polar Park, which has a lot of wildlife here, but visit with the wolves takes you with a trained biologist who's going to talk to you about how wolves run in packs and all of the background with them, and just learn a lot about this unique animal here and how it survives in this northern part of the world. We also have an opportunity for a sleigh ride with a Sami family again, and going up into the Narvik Mountains, maybe get a chance to see them lasso a reindeer, and again, go into a traditional tent. And then, of course, with this incredible scenery, you're going to want to just really explore. Here's a family tent inside. You can see the reindeer skins, maybe share stories around a bonfire. And of course, we're going to have the opportunity to do some incredible flight seeing, whether it's helicopter or with a biplane. You can explore the countryside and get some beautiful aerial views. Day 10 is going to take us sailing in this Norwegian Inside Passage again, coming back down toward London and getting those beautiful views. And then we'll cross into the North Sea. And again, your lectures on board will give you some amazing history about how this area has made its living from not only fish and wildlife, but also from petroleum, and tell you about the history there, what life is like aboard an oil rig, and learning all about that as you sail into Amsterdam, which is our last port of call that you actually have a tour. But Amsterdam is such a wonderful city. More museums per square mile here than any place in the world. And your included tour is going to be on a canal cruise. Now you might think, well, in January through March, that might not be very comfortable, but they're domed boats, and you'll have a guide that will help you see Amsterdam by water. But of course, there's a lot to do here, whether you are exploring a museum or getting a chance to shop and get some Dutch cheese. Very, very enjoyable day here at Amsterdam, and then sailing from here to London. And this will end our cruise. Now, you won't actually see London as part of your tour unless you do an extension, which we'll talk about now, because that's always an important option. You can do pre or post packages. We have 2 nights in Bergen. We have 2 nights in Oslo, 2 in London. And those are going to be your hotel stays, your daily breakfasts, the services of a Viking host, and all your transfers to and from, depending on which end you get your extensions on. And I like to just say, you're flying all that way, have the time to go in early, acclimate to the time change, get a little more time to see the city that you're visiting. And then on your return, especially for instance, like in this case in London, where you won't have time there on your own, spend a little extra time and be able to tour the city. If you are buying air with Viking and you're staying with the included extensions, then your transfers are included to the ship or the boat as well. So some other options we have are pristine Iceland. So we're so close to Iceland, take advantage of that and be able to explore Iceland in a way that Viking will guide you. And we have some great opportunities for you to enjoy extending your stay, going to Reykjavik, and the tours will be included with Viking. So one thing we're going to transition to is just to talk about the ship itself. And one of the things that Viking is really good about is knowing who they are trying to appeal to, as well as what they're trying to be for that demographic. And Viking does not try to be all things to all people. And this is one of my favorite slides because they really do set themselves apart. They appeal to those mature adults who are interested in art, history, culture, and geography. So they're not trying to be the party ship or the jazz cruise or have some kind of themes. It's all about the destination. So when you're on the Viking ship, you will be with other like-minded guests. We have no casinos on board or children under 18. There are no umbrella drinks, and so no additional charges, somebody trying to get you to do that. No photographers interrupting your meals or keeping you from disembarking or getting on the ship because they're trying to take a picture to sell you at the end of the tour. No art auctions or formal nights. So you can just really, as you can see in this photo, it's very casual and relaxed. As you would go to a friend's house for dinner is perfectly fine for Viking dining. No smoking or charge for beer, wine, and soft drinks with meals. No corkage fees. So if you find something you want to bring on board, you never have to worry about smuggling it in. The wait staff at dinner or the bartender will be happy to uncork it for you and share with your friends and just enjoy. We want you to have the sense that you are not prohibited in any way from enjoying every bit of the experience that you have on board a Viking ship. No charge for unlimited Wi-Fi. This is such a game changer for me, especially if I'm working while I'm on the ship. It's just so nice to have the freedom to stay in touch or check in, and there's no charge for that service. We even have laundrettes on board, including your soap. So if you choose to do laundry on vacation, you're able to do so. That's a great thing to do on a sea day, but just tip to do so. Do it early or late. A lot of people are thinking of taking care of those things mid-morning. And of course, you don't want to wait in line on vacation. So be a little strategic there. As I mentioned, you do have free access to the spa, but there's no sales pressure there. And that is a really great spa, which I'll show you some photos of. No inside staterooms and no butlers. Nothing fussy about the Viking experience. This is the beautiful Viking ship, and you can see it's very yacht-like and sleek design. Viking has been ranked again #1 in the small ship class for now 6 years in a row. So since this first ship hit the water in 2015, it's been ranked #1, and our guests have really enjoyed sailing with Viking and all the extra amenities that come with it. And I'm going to give you a tour of the ship. This is the atrium. And as you can see here, we've got a piano. You'll hear live music at night before dinner. At the top of the stairs, this is interactive screen, places that Viking sails throughout the day. At 6 p.m., there's a partnership with the Edvard Munch Museum, and you'll get a cultural tour of that while you are waiting for dinner to be served. I love the way they have designed the living room so that you're able to meet up with friends before dinner, listen to some lovely music, just sit and chat and have a relaxing day as if you were inviting someone into your own home. The Explorer's Lounge is a particular favorite. It's 2 stories and you can see the amazing views. Imagine sailing through the fjords with these views, curled up on one of those faux reindeer skins. watching the interactive map as you sail, and then going up maybe on the upper deck and enjoying a book from the library and just having an afternoon of scenic sailing and relaxing in a great way. Now, the Winter Garden is one of my favorite places, and I enjoy it because every afternoon around 3 p.m. we have high tea, and it is a wonderful experience, and you get the chance to have all different types of teas, clotted cream and sandwiches and petit fours, etc. Very, very lovely afternoon. String trio was playing when we were there, and it was just such a highlight of the day. The Winter Garden is in the rear, as you can see in this photo. In the foreground is our main pool, and it's heated. We've got a retractable roof, so regardless of whether the weather's perfect or rainy, you can still enjoy being out, feeling like you're getting some fresh air and sunshine. And in the evening, we can have this as an entertainment venue, so enjoying the maybe a movie under the stars with Bose headphones and blankets, or a performance. This is a great venue for that. The infinity pool, you probably won't be using this in the Northern Lights itinerary, but this is a great place to feel like you're swimming in your destination. And here's this incredible spa. I really am not a spa person, but enjoyed this immensely. So you will have some days at sea where you can spend time on the ship, have an opportunity to sit on that bench in the water and chat under that firewall there, or maybe use the whirlpool, or there's a continuous swimming current that you can use to get your exercise in. But of course, there's also some ingenious things like the snow grotto. So this is the only kind at sea, and you'll actually go in there. It's designed to stimulate the body circulation. So you get in and kind of chill down, and then go to the sauna, and it'll just rejuvenate you, get that blood flowing, make you feel 10 years younger. The restaurant has some great views, as you can see here, and the food is amazing. Chairman said we can have different food, but nothing can be better than the restaurant. And I have to agree. I enjoyed the specialty restaurants, which we'll show you, but kept coming back to the main restaurant. Their New York strip was excellent. And Freddy's Italian restaurant is a specialty dining experience. And you can see here that it's a smaller venue. So you will be able to make reservations for that, but there's no charge. And there's even a private dining space. So if you decide you want to meet up with friends, once you get on board, see if the dining area is available for you to enjoy a private meal. The Chef's Table is another specialty restaurant, and it's a 5-course menu with wine pairings. The menu changes every couple of days, so give that a try. And then Mamsen's is our Norwegian deli. This is the chairman's mom, and she is pulling the chairman there, and so this is actually a tribute to her. These are her dishes, the replica of the dishes that he had when he was growing up. And of course, we have those Norwegian waffles and the caramelized goat cheese and fresh berries for breakfast, as well as great desserts in the afternoon, or open-faced sandwiches, and then a delicious split pea soup at night. The World Cafe will give you plenty of space to spread out for breakfast or lunch. It is a delicious eating venue. Gelato changes every day, and it's absolutely wonderful. And I enjoyed just freshly prepared salmon for lunch. They served it up, and it was absolutely delicious. So you will not go hungry on these cruises. Now, we want to talk a little bit about stateroom categories, and I'm going to give you an example of the way to look at when you're booking your cruise. You'll see that veranda 1 and 2 and the deluxe veranda 1 through 6 are all the exact same square footage. So a lot of times questions come up, okay, what's the difference? Why would I pay more? Well, one of those reasons would be the location on the ship, as well as whether you want it more forward or aft, higher or lower on the ship, or more forward or aft. And so I'd recommend for this itinerary, if you tend toward motion sickness, to try to be more midship. And the difference between the veranda 1 and 2 and the deluxe veranda is actually where you're going to get some extra benefits. So we're going to talk about those, but this is the entry-level stateroom. Every stateroom has a balcony. There is not a bad room on the ship. and you can see plenty of space, lots of storage, a lighted closet. The bathrooms are great and spacious, heated floors throughout, which is awesome, especially in the winter. Your mini bar is stocked with soft drinks, water, and snacks. It's only stocked on your first day in this category. In Deluxe Veranda 2, you'll actually get in your stateroom earlier. Now you'll have priority shore excursion access, and your mini bar will be stocked daily, as well as you'll have a coffee maker, some binoculars you can use in your room. Little tip, bring your own binoculars because you don't want to have to be sharing those and missing something special that you might be seeing. Anti-fog mirrors in the bathrooms. The toiletries are large, color-coded, and large print, so you don't have to worry about wondering if you're putting conditioner or lotion on your hair. And a great option to make sure you're aware of what you're using in the shower. The penthouse veranda has the option of having more square footage, 338 square feet, 1 p.m. stateroom access, and now you're booking your shore excursions sooner. Your minibar also comes with alcohol now and is restocked daily, as well as shoe shine and pressing service, and a bottle of champagne is included. Really a highly rated stateroom, and our guests really like that. You can see a little bit bigger, ladies, there is a vanity, as you can see, in every category stateroom. And I didn't really discover that till a couple of days into my cruise. I was like, this is wonderful. The lighting is great, keeps some of the traffic out of the bathrooms, so you're really able to get ready and have some great lighting while doing so. Our next category up is the Penthouse Junior Suites, larger in size, 405 square feet, 11 a.m. access to the stateroom. Now you're getting your shore excursions booked 87 days prior to departure. So you really do have that edge with shore excursions. And I should just pause here and say, where I really like people to be clear is, if you've done the river cruises, everybody's getting off the ship for the included excursion at 9 in the morning. That's not the case with Viking Ocean ships because we have 930 guests. So they do stagger the included excursions throughout the day. And of course, optional excursions are unique to each port, and the priority to book those comes with the top down. So from the owner suite, then the explorer suite, penthouse junior suite, penthouse veranda, deluxe veranda, and veranda 1 or 2 staterooms. So I would encourage you, for those of you who never have thought it was a big deal, it can be a little bit bigger deal here. If you're a relaxed traveler and you don't have to have everything lined up tight, then maybe not worry about it as much. But for those who are really going to be on it at 3 p.m. when your booking window opens, one thing to know is the higher up you go, the sooner access you're going to have, and also fewer staterooms. So just want to encourage you to think about that as you choose which stateroom you are going to be choosing. In this category, we also have laundry and dry cleaning added, as well as all the other amenities that come with it. And you can see we have an actual partition that separates the living room from the main sleeping area. So it's wonderful if you have a travel partner who gets up earlier, stays up later, not going to disturb the person that's trying to rest. Also great if you want to have some friends over, you're traveling with friends and you want to enjoy your own private space. You can certainly do that as well. Penthouse Junior Suite bathroom is a little different as well. We have double vanity sinks, a little bit larger space, and heated towel racks. And then we go to the Explorer Suites, and we have Explorer Suite 1, 2, or 3, and it ranges in size from 757 to 1163 square feet. Of course, we'll be happy to tell you which ones are larger. And of course, you have everything with the other staterooms, plus earlier access to book your shore excursions and extras that are included, specifically the size of the staterooms. So you've got large areas here. The balconies are lovely, large balconies, chaise lounges there. So you really do feel like you have your own space on the balcony area as well. The Explorer Suite bathrooms are the only category besides the owner suite that comes with a bathtub. So this is a beautiful bathroom, and that nice soaking tub is part of your amenities. And then this is where the chairman travels when he's on board the ship. We have 11 a.m. priority access. And of course, if he's not there, you have access to feel like the chairman of the company as well. There are beautiful amenities here, a boardroom that seats 12 with video conferencing and a fireplace there, even an ocean view, dry sauna So you can see it's just a really stunning, stunning space. Wonderful way to celebrate when you are ready to travel in style. Now, Viking is great about focusing on the destination immersion. As we talked about, we have those resident lecturers and historians who will give you a lot of information about the culture and the history of the areas that you're sailing through. We do destination performances that kind of give you insight into the arts of the region. We have the monk moments, which I mentioned. That digital screen will change at 6 p.m. because we have the rights to the collection of Edvard Munch. And so you'll get a chance to learn a little bit about his history and his works. But the biggest factor, I think, with Viking is how much time is spent in the destination. I think this is one of those things when you're comparing apples to apples, you really have to understand the process of embarkation, disembarkation, as far as how it cuts into your time. First of all, we have at least one overnight in every port, which really gives our guests the chance to experience life like a local. Our ships are small, so they're sailing close to the destination. You can not only see the countryside, but it really helps eliminate us having to tender to and from the ship. That does eat up a lot of time. Your average time savings is 3 to 4 hours per port getting on and off the vessel. So when you're there, you're actually there. You're not waiting in line to get off the ship. And so that's a big thing to consider when you're looking at other cruise lines. And because Viking isn't trying to sell something, there's no rush to get those 20 miles off of shore so they can open up the casinos and the gift shop and the cash registers and all the other sales opportunities. So that kind of value, you need to really consider that Viking is really pouring time for you to get to these ports of call that you're paying to visit. And why would you use Imagine Going There Travel? Well, you'll always get the best deal. We are Viking experts. It's all we do. And you'll have a team of people watching over your reservation from start to finish. Viking pays us to help you. So we are here to serve you because we know your first Viking trip will probably not be your last. And we want to make sure it's a really amazing experience. Now, we also give you some extra bonuses. We have the 100 per person shipboard credit. Many times our guests are new to Viking and they don't realize they also get a new guest discount. So very often we're able to give our guests at least $400 extra in value that they wouldn't get otherwise. So I hope that helps give you an overview of our Great Northern Lights itinerary. And our motto is great vacations matter because great memories matter the most. We want to make sure that you are fitted with the right vacation for your cruise, that we're able to help you really learn in advance of the opportunities of what you're going to get to see, and then help you celebrate when you get back a great, great trip. So feel free to call me. I'm Carol with Imagine Going There Travel. It's Carol at imaginegoingthere.com. And my phone number is 770-557-5586 or 770-421-9627. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed learning about Northern Lights, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on our next Viking itinerary overview.